Well, good day, my friends. This is Glynn B. Allen Sr., and I'm elated today to come to you and share in this masterclass. This is another session that we'll come together and learn a little bit more about mastering life. Now, why is this so important? Because I've learned something. If you don't master life, life will master you. My objective today is to move you from the rear passenger seat in your life and put you in the driver's seat. What does that mean? So many of us have been chauffeured around with ideas, opinions, and the voices of so many other people that we have allowed them to drive us to our destiny. We are never going to get there if someone else is driving. You got to get in the driver's seat of your own destiny and take part and participation in where you're going. God wants you involved, but you cannot do that until you learn how to master life. And I'm only here tonight to give you some tools, as each of us have individual journeys to get to a particular place in God. And as we do so, I want you to enjoy the journey. Now, so many of us, we're living, but we're not enjoying the journey. We've accomplished so many things. I've known people that boast of the kind of money that they have, or their career, or their standing in the community. Maybe you have a good reputation. Maybe you worked hard to achieve and acquire wonderful things in life, cars, money, houses, and you boast about those things, but yet you're not happy. I believe John 10:10, where Jesus says, I've come that you might have life and have it to the full and enjoy life. God wants you to be full, but he also wants you to enjoy your life. Now, you cannot do that if you're not allowing yourself to take part in your living. So if you know someone tonight who's suffering with this particular part of life and maybe need this tool in their toolbox to master life, won't you take a moment and invite them to share with us? This is so important for you to share this and help us build an audience of people who really need some tools to really get down to mastering their own lives. Now, I'm telling you again, if you're not going to master life, someone else will, or life will master it for you. Now, I believe this. If you don't have plans for your life, if you don't have control over your own destiny, someone will sit in that driver's seat and drive you to where they want you to be. Also, before you leave tonight, I'd like for you to share a contribution, something that can help us move forward with this video and this podcast to really bring it to a place of excellence and get to many people as we possibly can. Tonight, I want to talk about something that's very dear to me. It took me a long time to really understand the power of it, because I grew up in an environment that I was criticized for being myself. Yeah, I was criticized for being me. I grew up in an environment that people often critique me, judge me, and most times compared me to someone else. I grew up looking much like my dad, and if you would see a picture of him, he was me in the future. And sometimes the things that I did or ways that I reflected were things that I learned from him. I had no other male factor in front of me at a particular time but him. So a lot of his mannerisms and the ways that he handled life was the way that I adopted, because he was a man in my life. I mean, he was the only image that I had. So my job was to really just imitate who he was. I thought that was all that was to manhood. So when my mom and dad divorced, I carried that on into my future. And then I got criticized for it. A lot of people looked at me and they didn't see me. They saw him in me and not the possibilities of what I could become. So I had to learn how to love me, because some people didn't accept me for who I was. And man, it's a terrible spot to live in when you're living trying to be accepted or approved or affirmed by other people. I spent a great portion of my life living in obscurity, not seen, but just compared to my dad. They didn't like him. So consequently, they didn't like me. And they didn't ever give me a chance, never gave me a chance to really explore who I was as an individual. So tonight I really want to talk to you about something that's near and dear to me because I have personal experience with it. And so many people that are watching me tonight, you have personal experience with not being allowed to be yourself. People not loving you for who you are. Possibly they love you for who they can make you become or their idea of what you may be in the future if you keep conforming to them. God never told you to conform or to become anyone. He said you can be transformed by the renewing of your mind, but never conforming to the image of anyone but Jesus Christ. And so tonight I want to talk to you about this because this is so important. The power of being you. The power of being you. In Psalm 139 and verse 14, it says, I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul know it right well. Now, he says, I'm made fearfully. God has skillfully made me, one writer says, and wonderfully made me. In the same text in the New Living Translation, it reads like this, thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Now, I'm not a simple creation. I'm complex. There's so many variations and so much to know about me because God made me complex. Some people limit you to the way you look. They limit you to the greater hair you have or your complexion, your skin color, but I'm more complex than that. And then he says, your workmanship is marvelous. God made me marvelous. You are a masterpiece. Now, he says, you got to know that. You are born an original. God made you an original. There is nobody else like you. You're the only person in this world that has your DNA, and you're the only one that has your structure of gene pool within you. So today, I want you to know that you are a masterpiece, and God created you as an original. And so I want to tell you today, as John Mason would say, don't die a copy. Don't spend your whole life being a copy of someone else. Today, I want you to really look at this because each of us we are a unique creation woven together by God's loving hands and so unique, and we have tremendous power within ourselves. So I want us to discover how to love the power of being you. Now, many people weigh their identity on what they do, but God has created us as human beings. We are human beings, and you are being, not a doing. And now, why do I say that? Because your identity should never be estimated by what you do, but rather who you are. What happens when you stop doing what you do? Do you yet not exist? If God never created you to stop being you, no matter if you're doing this, that, or the other. What happens if what you're doing ceases? Maybe your career ends, or your job, you retire from it, or you have to move on to do something else. And if you are known by what you do and not who you are, you're not living as a human being. God wants you to be celebrated as a being and not a doing. I do this, but this is not who I am. And some of the things that I do is not who I am. It's not my true identity. It's just a fraction of who I am. It's not the total being. And many people don't take time to learn who you are. They just study what you do. Some of the things you do are well. Some of the things that you do are not so good. And people will judge you for the things you do. If they're not so well, then they will label you and say, this is who you are. But I'm greater than my mistakes. I'm greater than the things I've done wrong. I'm greater than the mishaps that I've had, or even the failures that I've had. And I will not allow anybody, I hope that you don't as well, I will not allow anyone to label me from my past. I've done some things, and of course, those things have brought me to the place I'm in today. And many of us live with this umbrella over our heads, and under the auspices of the things that we've done wrong and the opinions of so many people who caught you in a moment. Don't allow anyone to frame a moment in your life and to cause it to be a monument of who you are. You are better than that. You are more than that. And your being is not captivated by what you do or what you've done, not your job, not your career. You are so much broader than that. You're so much more complex than that. You're so much more better than even the things that you made mistakes with. I don't know about anybody here tonight, but guess what? I have gone through some horrible moments. One of those moments is divorce. You know, people look at you and say, oh man, you've been divorced. And man, how could you allow that to ever happen? So now your whole career in relationship or relational involvement is ruined. I'm not going to let anyone do that. So I'm saying this and speaking to people who've gone through failing relationships. Don't allow that to mark you as a failure. Tonight, I want you to also know that you're created in God's image. In Genesis chapter 1 and verse 27, it says, God created all mankind in his own image. And in his image, he created them, male and female, created him, he, them. Now, this is the foundational truth that reminds us that we're all made in the image of God, each of us reflecting something different about the aspects of God. You may have one aspect, while I have another, but we are all created in the image of God. And when we embrace who we are, we honor the Creator. Because I have some of the attributes of God that you may not have, but we're all created in the image of God. And it's a dishonor to God when we don't live in our own truth. And what is that truth? Being who we are. Lord, you created me like this, and I'm a reflection of you in the earth realm. Our individuality is not a flaw. It is divine. It is a divine design that showcases God's creativity. And whenever you're trying to be someone else, you are really dishonoring God. There's power in being you. Now, I need you to say this with me tonight. I am unapologetically me. I am created in the image of God. So there's no need for me to apologize for who I am. I am unapologetically me. It took a lot for me to chisel away and God to work on me to become who I am today. And I'm made in his image, and some of the making is not over, but God is chiseling me. Like Jeremiah said, I saw some clay on a wheel, and God molded me and broke me and made me. And when he found something wrong about me that did not reflect him, he broke me down to make me better. Oh yes, I've been through some moments, but God has created me, and yet creating me in his own image. He's not done with me yet, but I am the creation of God. And when you are a copycat or a carbon copy of someone else, you're not happy with yourself, you're not happy with your own uniqueness and individuality, that is a direct insult to God. Today, I want you to celebrate the fact that God created you and you have his likeness in this world. Next, I want to talk to you about the impact of your authenticity. When you are true to yourselves, you can impact the world around you in profound ways. In Matthew chapter 5, verse 14 through 16, it says, Jesus calls us to be the light of the world, a city on a hill that cannot be hidden. He calls you to be the light of the world, and your authentic self is a unique light. Listen, he tells you, don't put your light under a bushel and become hidden. Don't put your light under a stone to be hidden. Don't hide your light, but your individuality, your authentic self is a unique light. And it can shine bright in the world, even in dark places. You will not imagine how many people are living in darkness and chaotic situations. And when you are who you are, you bring light to them. You cannot bring light if you are not authentic. You got to know the impact of your authenticity. Don't hide it. Don't apologize for it. Don't try to subdue it. Be yourself. Be true to you. Many times you're trying to hide your light. You're trying to be who you're not. And that's not what God is looking for. He said, let your light so shine. Not everybody else's light, but let your light shine. We sang that song when we were coming up as kids in the Baptist church. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine everywhere I go. Yes. And then Jesus gave it to me, and I'm going to let it shine. Well, Jesus gave me the light of authenticity, and I'm going to let my light shine. Now, you can let yours shine, but I will never dim my light to satisfy or accommodate someone else. Let your light shine. Many of us, we put our light down because we're looking at someone we think has a brighter light. But when you're walking in authenticity, your light is brighter than you ever know. When you are who you are, then guess what happens? You inspire others to do the same thing. Authenticity breeds authenticity. You could not imagine how people are waiting on you to be real so they can show themselves to be real as well. You know, we live in an area, especially where I live in this Atlanta area, where everybody's trying to impress somebody else. Well, impress them with yourself. Impress them with the real you. Let your light shine and watch how other people come from under the load of trying to compare, compete, and they can show themselves as real as they are as well. So you got to know the impact of your authenticity. Next, you got to overcome fear and insecurity. Many of us struggle, and I mean really struggle with fear and insecurity. We worry about others' perspective of them looking at us a certain way. Will they accept us? Will they allow us in their circle? And Isaiah chapter 41 says this. In verse 10, it says, God really assures us. He said, listen, do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. When you recognize your value comes from God and not from other folks' opinions and from people who are not any better than you, you can step boldly into your true selves. The power of being you is rooted in the understanding that you are loved and you are accepted by the Almighty God. I don't have to fear what man approves. I don't have to fear. I don't have to walk in insecurity because I know that I've been accepted in the beloved. I'm not fighting for acceptance. Now, I used to be there. Man, I fought and struggled. I dressed like I thought they wanted me to dress. I spoke like they wanted me to speak. I was in a prison and too fearful to come out because I wanted to be accepted by man, not knowing that I was already accepted by God. Now, someone that's listening to me tonight, you are in a prison of fear and insecurity. Man, you just want to fit in. You want people to love you. You want them to embrace you. Well, if they're not embracing the true you, they are embracing someone else. And you're going to continue to live with this insecurity because you have to be fake to fit in. So they're never embracing you. They are embracing who they think you are, not who you really are, because you had to put on. You're insecure about yourself. You're always living to be accepted, and they're accepting you for the false you and not the real you. So today, if you're really going to get love or acceptance, or you're going to be secure in a relationship, make sure that you're secure in the relationship because you are who you are. Man, think about this. Some people have been married for decades and you don't even know who you're married to, because they've never been allowed to be themselves. Some of you have been in a family situation, and guess what? You've been accepted for years, struggling, going home every day, wishing they could love you for who you really are. But when you come around them, you have to put on airs. That's not what you want to live with. That's not the kind of prison you want to live in. It's a prison of fear. And I came tonight to free you and give you the keys to your cell to tell you, be you. And if they cannot accept you for who you are, Jesus gave you permission to dust your feet. Move on, because God has someone that will love you for you, but it begins with you loving yourself. And stop being insecure and walking in fear, because God has not given us the spirit of fear. I used to be there, man, and there's nothing more liberating, nothing more exciting than you living being you. I came tonight to tell somebody, be you. Man, listen, no one can be you like you. Next, I want to talk to you about embracing your personal gifts. Now, God has uniquely gifted you with something special, but you cannot come into the authenticity of that gift until you become your authentic self. You got to know the power of being you. Now, you got a gift that everybody needs that's around you. God has placed people around you that need what you have, but you can't give it to them if you're not going to be you. So in 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 10, it says, we are encouraged to use whatever gifts we have received to serve others, faithfully administering God's grace in its various forms. Now, God gave you something unique to serve others. And when you're true to yourself, you discover your gifts. You can unleash your gifts in ways to bless others. But when you don't discover yourself, you cannot bless others, because someone's waiting on your authentic self. They already have one of these other people, but you as an authentic self. They already have a T.D. Jakes. The world has him. The world has a Creflo Dollar. The world has a Kenneth Copeland. The world has so many other preachers. But when God created me, he had a plan. He knew me from the very inception of the world. Listen, he knew me before my great-great-grandparents were born, and had a plan for me, and had already gifted me with something for this season that I live in, to be a blessing to others. Now, if I carbon copy or try to be or imitate someone else, then guess what I'm doing? I am not using the gift that God put within me. And then I am also depriving the world of my own unique gifts. Today, I want you to embrace your unique gifts and tell God, thank you. Thank you for giving me this uniqueness, this gift. That may be something so simple to you, but it's so profound to someone else. It may be something that's not worth much to you, but it's so valuable to someone else. So today, use your gift to be a blessing to someone else. This is in the power of you being yourself. Now, I want you to understand this as well, that the journey of your self-discovery is an ongoing journey. The journey of self-discovery is an ongoing journey. It's a journey. It's not a destination. You will discover more and more about yourself as you live on, because you are ever evolving. Did you know that? That you are ever evolving. As the pages of your life turn, you will discover more and more, man, I'm like this because of this. Or I'm getting better at this. It's not a destination. It's a journey. And you need to say this to yourself. I am on a journey. I don't know where this journey is taking me. There's a certain destination. I know that God has my destiny in his hands, but I'm moving forward daily. In Philippians chapter 3, one of my favorite scriptures, Paul speaks of pressing on toward the mark, which is God has called us to be. Listen, you got to keep pressing. You can't give up on yourself. You have not seen the best of yourself. You have not seen the pinnacle of your life. You have not seen your paramount being. Yes, you made some great strides, but don't stop there. This is a journey. And the more you self-discover, the greater you're going to know that, hey, man, I got so much more left inside of me. Here I am at this certain age, man. I'm in my 60s. And here I am. I would think by now I've reached my goal, but I'm just getting started. Can you imagine that? Man, God waited to get me here to learn more about myself and to perfect the things which concerned me. God has created me and he's called me to be something, and he's yet perfecting the things that concerned me. This is a journey. I'm getting better daily and I'm loving who I am becoming. Now, this is another point that you got to get to as you're on your journey to self-discovery. You got to love you. You got to love what God is shaping and molding you to become. No, you're not perfect, but God is making you something different and better every day. But you got to love. And when you self-discover, self-reflect, you take an introspective of yourself, not just allowing yourself to live under the shadows of people's opinions, their thoughts, their remembrance, or the things they have about your history. And let me remind you today that your history is not your destiny. It's a part of the process. If I had not gone through that, I wouldn't be who I am today. I have fallen and I have failed forward. I need you to say that. I have fallen and I have failed forward. My failures and my falling have not taken me backwards. They've taken me forward. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. In Psalm 37 and verse 23, it says, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. And then he goes on to say, yet he may fall, but he's not utterly cast down. His falling is a part of the journey of self-discovery. I fall, but I get up. A just man falleth 7 times. What did I learn when I failed? I learned a little bit more about me. And God is ordering my steps. And sometimes those steps include stumbling, staggering, falling, but get up again. Every time you get back up, you learn how to be stronger. It's a part of your self-discovery. Don't let anybody tell you that you've fallen and you got to stay down. I don't know. No. I'm getting up a better me. I'm going to get up again. I fell 7 times, but I'm getting up on number 8 again to do it again because I learned something different about myself. It's called self-discovery. Love you, even in your fallen moments, knowing that there's something better that's coming. Now, it has a power in being you. It's a testament of God's love and creativity. Embrace your identity. Beloved as a child of God. Celebrate your uniqueness. Recognize that you have a vital role to play in this world and walk in your authenticity. You will not only experience personal freedom, but also you will inspire others to embrace their true lives as well. Now, don't be apologetic. I leave you with that word. Don't be apologetic for who you are. Learn to love yourself. Embrace yourself. Can you do this with me? Just a little practice. The power of being you. The power of loving you, your authenticity. It starts with you respecting who you are as a part of God's creation. So what I want you to do is embrace who you are today by throwing your arms around yourself and say this with me. I love me some me. Now, love, that's my word for you tonight. There's power in you being you. Stop being a copy. God created you as an original. Now, you are an original. Please don't die a copy. Listen, tonight there may be someone here that's watching me. You need to give your life to Jesus Christ. That's so important. This whole broadcast is for you to come closer to God. Maybe you need a church home and you can't get to church. You can join us online. That's another way. Yes, you can join us over the internet. Yes, we can come right to your home every day. I'm on YouTube, Facebook. You can get a word from God. And then we got a daily devotion we can share with you. And one of these three areas you may want to tap into, you can text to that number on the screen, saved, daily, or connect. Now, I said that out of order, but saved, connect, or daily. You want a daily word, daily. You want to connect with us, connect, save. You want to get saved, just text in the word salvation or save, and we'll get right to you as soon as possible. Don't forget as well that we are praying every morning at 7:14 a.m. And what a wonderful way to start the day in the majesty of the morning as we see God's sunrise. We are praying at 7:14 a.m. as 2 Chronicles 7:14 says, if my people which are called by my name humble themselves, pray, seek my face, turn from their wicked ways. We've taken that 7:14 as our time to pray. I want you to join us tomorrow morning, and everybody can join with that. Beloved, I want you to get that because that's so important. Listen, before you sign off tonight, I want you to make sure that you're sharing a love gift with this broadcast and with me. Listen, we're going to use this time, this money, to make sure that we get to as many people as we possibly can. Your seeds can really help. Your gift, your contribution can really help us keep this going at an excellent rate. Now, I need your help, and I need you to share with us. That's so important. Gotta go. My time is up. I'm watching the clock. Time up, but God bless you tonight. I want you to remember this. If you don't remember nothing else, I love me some you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. I'll see you next time.